Brother SOGS, this is Nigeria News Center, where all the news in Nigeria crystallize and equally give attention to global news. With me is Mr. Nuni. Mr. Nuni, you're welcome.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Martin.
Let me quickly bring your attention to a trending news about Ghajiabiamila, talking about the Chief of Staff to Mr. President.
Yes.
The other time a news was trending that he had been fired. And not only that, before now, we have been hearing story about how Mr. President wants to remove him of his position because as at the time, people alleged that he was into racketeering when it comes to giving people appointment. But Mr. President came out to say, no, I have confidence in my Chief of Staff. And the quick check has shown that even the recent viral news that claimed that he had been fired is fake. How do we get here? Why is the Chief of Staff a target for fraudsters?
For fraudsters?
Yes, for people who want to make headline.
Well, they say that in every rumor there is a hint of truth. So I am not here to debunk any rumor or any fake news. Because as it were, we've seen that Ghajiabiamila has always been the arrowhead when it comes to interrogation with committee heads and every committee that the federal government has set up so far. We saw how Ghajiabiamila interceded with the labor union. Right from under Buhari, we saw what he did as a speaker, even ahead of the senator. And even under this labor union recently, we saw Ghajiabiamila interceding, especially when the labor union threatened them that they were going to go for 14, they gave them 14 days ultimatum. And we saw Ghajiabiamila kicking it. These are not the works of the Chief of Staff. But we can see his iron-headedness. For me, I think the Chief of Staff, Ghajiabiamila, has done gratefully in that position. And I am for him to be sacked, as a matter of fact, because Ghajiabiamila is the gatekeeper. You know, he is the one that can ensure that the president succeeds or fails. The president will more or less take the Chief of Staff more seriously than even the vice president. And that's the truth. The Chief of Staff can orchestrate the termination or the sack of the vice president. That is how powerful the Chief of Staff is. But Ghajiabiamila is on record to be a well-known mentee of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And I think is, if not the closest right now, I think he will perfectly understand the mental state of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He will understand how conscious, the high alertness, the mental alertness Bola Ahmed Tinubu has, and he might want to play on his intelligence. Yes, I can see Bola Ahmed Tinubu is vulnerable. We trust Ghajiabiamila, unlike Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because he has been backstabbed by so many. The last Chief of Staff to Bola Ahmed Tinubu was this former Osun State governor, the former minister. Yes, Agbeshola. However, we saw how Agbeshola backstabbed him, right? So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because I believe the Chief of Staff will push for any minister to be sacked or to be appointed. You know, so I mean, I'm not going to say I'm debunking any fake news, my brother. Like I said from the beginning of this, my statement and submission, I said in every rumor there is an iota of truth, and I think the body language of the Chief of Staff is telling me that I should believe that fake news. Rather, it is not a fake news. Of course, the Chief of Staff has not been sacked. But the issue of him perpetrating evil in that kitchen, because it belongs to the kitchen cabinet. These are the people who are closest to him. You know, I don't think it's unfounded. I think it's genuine to me. Because the Chief of Staff needs to be vocal. We saw how the first Chief of Staff of Muhammad Buhari, you know, Kyari. Unfortunately for Kyari, was unpopular. People didn't like him.
Among Nigerians.
Yes, but he was very instrumental for Buhari's success. This was the same person who went to Germany to sign some Siemens deals. He was able to cut, some lapses and some excesses.
As he was staying on the subject of conversation, by saying that in every rumor there's element of truth.
Yeah.
Are you in any way insinuating that it is possible that there is a rumor the president may be not showing intention of firing his chief of staff?
Well, for me, I think it should be considered if he's not even trying to do that. The chief of staff must be put on that scale of screening and evaluation. But you see, the chief of staff is so powerful that the chief of staff sits above every minister and even special advisor. There's a special advisor, Adiza Bala, who is in charge of monitoring. All right. So Adiza Bala is below Ghajiabiamila. I think Bola Ahmed, to me, I think Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he has to probably find his own course and take that decision on his own.
But let me bring this
But I think he might not be able to do that.
Let me bring this question. To you, but what I can infer, even if there is no intention to fire Ghajiabiamila, you are saying you are not satisfied so far with his responsibility.
I am not.
Am I taking your mind?
Yes, you are. Why should the Ghajiabiamila, a renowned barrister, a Democrat, or should I say supposed Democrat, from our house of a speaker of our house, why should he be propagating the ban or the restriction of social media? I mean, these are tendencies of authoritarian. It feels threatening. But Ghajiabiamila has been indicted with the corruption of the family. Under Jonathan, Ghajiabiamila called Jonathan a vagabond. Have you not seen the tweet? On the 2014, I think April or so, he released a tweet and he said, the people in power are vagabonds. So, what temerity does he have?
Okay, using the same social media to reach out to the people, now that he's in authority.
He's not saying that they should cut short the social media. Because he feels threatened. Because there are some documents that have been leaked. Let me tell you, the two people that are dangerous to the president today are the STF and the chief of staff. These are the closest persons to the president. George Akume and Femi Ghajiabiamila are dangerous. George Akume is a known corrupt politician. George Akume wrote a letter, committee that are supposed to deliberate on minimum wage requested for 1.8 billion just to sit. What are they sitting for? What is that 1.8 billion? What is it for? What is the justification for 1.8 billion? That meeting, they don't need more. I think they are 12 of them. They don't need more than 120 million. Okay, let's say 10 million for each person.
Let us go to another area quickly.